Staying overseas, Russia hitting Ukraine with a barrage of drone attacks overnight. And that's as the Ukrainian president looks ahead to how the new Trump administration could impact his country. Volodymyr Zelensky saying he thinks the war will actually end faster, his words, with Trump in the White House. What exactly that means for Ukraine remains to be seen. Our Patrick Reevell joins us now from northern Ukraine. And Patrick, Ukraine getting hit with a wave of Russian drone attacks, including about a dozen where you were in Kyiv overnight. What more can you tell us?
Hi, Phil. Yeah, Ukraine was hit with a very large drone attack overnight. Around 80 Russian drones fired into the country, which frankly is becoming pretty much happening every night now. As you say, we were in Kyiv last night. We could hear very loud anti-aircraft fire, and Ukraine was able to shoot down around 50 of these drones. Odessa was also heavily targeted in the south. I think what's notable is that just, when we used to come to Ukraine, we would see only a little handful of these Iranian-made drones most nights. Now we see dozens of them happening almost every night, and it speaks to the intense pressure that Ukraine is now under as Vladimir Putin continues to try and put pressure not only on the front lines but also on the civilian population and on Ukraine's economy, Phil.
Patrick, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he thinks that the war will end faster with Donald Trump in office. But what does that actually mean? It seems like it would almost certainly mean that Ukraine would have to give up land.
Yeah, Phil, today an interview was released from President Volodymyr Zelensky where he said that he did believe that under President Trump we would see a faster end to the war, but he also warned that if Ukraine is not kept strong and in a strong position in those negotiations, they are doomed to fail. He also said that he believed that Vladimir Putin didn't actually want peace and may also just be seeking to try and get out of isolation, as well as ultimately trying to impose capitulation on Ukraine. He also said that Ukraine will not just accept what he said, sit and listen approach from the U.S., essentially meaning that even though they receive a huge amount of aid from the U.S., Ukraine is not going to just accept terms that are ultimately very negative for it. And interestingly, we've seen just in the last little while, Elon Musk is obviously playing a huge role at the moment in the Trump team. Elon Musk tweeted a sarcastic tweet making fun of that, saying that President Zelensky has a good sense of humor if he thinks that. So already we're seeing here, obviously, intense preparations on all sides for potential negotiations. But clearly, it's a very difficult situation, it's going to be a very, very difficult negotiation when it finally happens, Phil.
Absolutely. And all of this as lives are at stake. Patrick Reevell. Patrick, thank you so much.